Tonight, we are not traveling far away. We are not crossing oceans or galaxies. We are going somewhere much closer, somewhere far more mysterious. Inside you. Take a deep breath. Let your shoulders drop. Let the noise of the day slowly fade away. Because tonight, we are going to explore the quiet science within your own body. Your body is a silent world of motion and harmony. It never truly sleeps. Even now, as you lie still, your cells are awake. Your heart keeps time, and your breath continues the ancient rhythm of life. And somewhere deep inside, another process unfolds. One that keeps you alive, nourished, and connected to the world around you. Digestion. It may sound simple, something ordinary, something that happens every day. But what if I told you that digestion is a story of transformation, a calm, constant act of chemistry and care? Every piece of food you eat becomes part of you. Every grain of rice, every slice of bread, every drop of water. It all enters a long journey through a world you carry within. Before we begin this journey, take one more deep breath. And as you do, I'd like to invite you to do something small, but meaningful. Write in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is right now. Are you in a quiet room, lights off, ready to drift away? Or maybe you're on the other side of the world, letting your mind slow down after a long day? Your comment connects you with thousands of others, all lying quietly in their own corners of the world, breathing, learning, and resting together. If you enjoy this kind of calm learning, remember to subscribe, share this with someone who could use a little peace tonight, and gently leave a like. It helps more tired minds find this place of calm. Now, let your breath slow. Let your body sink deeper into the bed, or the chair, or wherever you are. You don't need to do anything. Your body already knows the way. Imagine you are sitting at a table, and before you, there is a simple meal, maybe a piece of bread, soft and warm. Maybe a bowl of soup, still steaming gently. You take a bite. The journey begins. The story of digestion starts not in the stomach, but in your senses. In the way you look at food, smell it, and imagine its taste. Even before you take that first bite, your body begins to prepare. Your mouth waters. Your stomach releases its first soft signals. Your brain whispers, "We are ready!" This is not just eating, it is communication. The world outside you, the food, the air, the smells, meets the world within you. It's a meeting of nature and self. And so, when you chew, something ancient happens. Your teeth grind, your tongue guides, and your saliva flows. It's the beginning of a transformation that has been taking place in every living creature since life began. It's quiet, automatic, and yet beautiful. Tonight, as you listen, you don't need to remember every enzyme, every chemical, or every Latin name. All you need to do is imagine. Visualize each step as a gentle movement, a soft transition, a conversation between your body and the universe that feeds it. When you chew, the molecules of food are broken into smaller parts. Your saliva begins to work. Enzymes like amylase dissolve complex starches, turning them into sugars your body can use. Your tongue feels the texture, the temperature, the weight of the food. It's more than taste, it's information. Your body is reading what it's about to receive. As you swallow, your body guides the food downward with perfect precision. Muscles contract and relax in harmony, creating waves that push the food gently forward. This wave-like motion will carry the food all the way through your system, never stopping, never rushing. The food will meet acid, enzymes, and secret messages from other organs, each playing its part in this silent dance of transformation. The journey will take hours, sometimes days. And through it all, your body will continue working quietly, turning what you've eaten into energy, warmth, and life itself. When you think about it, digestion is more than biology. It's trust. You trust your body without thinking. You eat, you sleep, and somewhere deep inside, millions of tiny processes keep you alive without asking for your attention. Your body serves you faithfully, day after day, while you dream, work, and wonder about other things. So tonight, as you listen to the story of your digestive system, think of it not as a machine, but as a companion. A patient, loyal companion that never rests. It takes what the world offers and transforms it, softly, constantly, and perfectly. This journey we'll take together will move through 7 stages. Each one is a world of its own. From the mouth, where the first taste sparks life, to the stomach, where acids and enzymes perform their secret alchemy, to the intestines, where millions of tiny structures absorb the essence of what you've eaten, and finally to the quiet renewal, where your body releases what it no longer needs. Along the way, we'll meet the unsung heroes of digestion, the liver, the pancreas, the trillions of microbes that live inside you and help you stay alive. We'll explore their roles gently, one by one, without haste. Because understanding your body is also an act of calm. It reminds you that you are not separate from nature. You are nature, unfolding. Let yourself imagine your body as a peaceful landscape. Streams flow through it, rivers carrying nutrients, forests of cells breathing together. Every process, every heartbeat, every chemical reaction is part of the same quiet rhythm. The world inside you is not chaotic. It is balanced, intelligent, ancient. It knows how to heal, how to grow, how to rest, and all you need to do, right now, is allow yourself to listen. So, before we begin our journey through the mouth, down the esophagus, into the deep chambers of the stomach, and through the winding path of the intestines, take one last deep breath. Inhale through your nose. Hold it for a moment, and exhale slowly. Feel the weight of your body supported by whatever holds you. Feel the comfort of this moment. You are safe. You are calm, and your body is quietly at work, caring for you in ways you never have to ask for. Now, we begin the journey of food, from the world outside into the mysterious and beautiful world within. It all begins before the first bite. Before your teeth touch the food, before a single muscle moves, the story of digestion has already started. You see, your body anticipates. The moment you see something to eat, or even imagine it, your brain sends a gentle signal through your nervous system. It tells your mouth to prepare, your salivary glands to awaken, your stomach to ready itself. A cascade of silent messages begins to flow, whispering, "Something is coming." The mouth is not just the entrance to the body. It is a gate of sensation, a world of texture, warmth, and sound. When you place food upon your tongue, you are not simply eating, you are beginning a ritual older than language itself. Your tongue presses the food lightly, exploring it with quiet curiosity. It feels the smoothness of a banana, the roughness of bread, the crisp crackle of a fresh apple. Your teeth join in, breaking the solid into pieces, rhythmically, almost musically. Each bite creates tiny echoes inside your skull, soft, familiar, grounding. You chew slowly, and your jaw moves like a pendulum, marking time for the orchestra of your body. As you chew, your saliva begins its gentle work. 3 main glands, parotid, sublingual, and submandibular, secrete a clear, silky fluid that coats every morsel of food. This is not just moisture, it is chemistry. It carries an enzyme called amylase, which starts breaking down starches into sugars. From the very first seconds of chewing, digestion begins, not in your stomach, but here, in the quiet laboratory of your mouth. Saliva is both a scientist and a protector. It softens food to make swallowing safe, and it neutralizes acids that could harm your teeth. It even cleans, constantly washing your mouth with tiny waves of balance. Without it, the simple act of eating would feel dry, painful, mechanical. With it, eating becomes effortless, rhythmic, almost meditative. Your tongue moves the food carefully, pushing it against the roof of your mouth, rolling it between your teeth. Each motion has purpose. It gathers the pieces, mixes them with saliva, and forms what biologists call a bolus, a soft, swallowable bundle. When the texture feels just right, your tongue makes a subtle motion, guiding it toward the back of your throat. And in that moment, something remarkable happens. You stop breathing. For a fraction of a second, your body pauses. The same reflex that protects you from choking also directs the food safely down a hidden passage, the esophagus. The entrance to your windpipe closes, and a tiny flap called the epiglottis lowers like a gate. It happens faster than thought, perfectly timed, perfectly silent. The bolus slides downward. You don't have to think about it, your muscles know what to do. Waves of contraction called peristalsis begin to move the food downward, one gentle push at a time. It's as if your body becomes a living conveyor of care, carrying nourishment deeper and deeper into your inner world. But before we follow it, let's linger here a little longer, inside the mouth, where the world first becomes part of you. Think of how extraordinary this place is. Your lips, tongue, teeth, and saliva form a perfect team, built over millions of years of evolution to protect and feed you. Your lips sense temperature. They warn you if something is too hot or too cold. Your tongue detects flavor, sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and umami. Each taste is a signal, a code written in chemistry. Sweet means energy. Salt means minerals. Sour and bitter often mean caution. Umami means protein, strength, life. Every time you eat, your body reads these codes, interprets them, and responds. It's a form of conversation, one that happens beneath language, beneath awareness. The food speaks to you, and your body listens. Now imagine chewing slowly, mindfully. The taste changes as time passes. A piece of bread begins as something firm and dry, but as you chew, it softens. The starch transforms into sugar, and a faint sweetness blooms. That sweetness is not in the bread itself, it's in the work your saliva has done. You've created it, through patience and motion. Chewing, though simple, is one of the most complex acts your body performs. Dozens of muscles move in perfect coordination. Your brain times every bite so that you can breathe between them. Even as you listen now, your body remembers the pattern. Chew, breathe, chew, swallow. It's a quiet rhythm of life, steady, grounding, eternal. As you continue to imagine this process, let your thoughts slow down. Notice how natural it feels to picture something so ordinary. The act of eating connects every living being, from the smallest insect to the largest whale. Every creature on earth participates in this same miracle of transformation. We all take from the world, change it within us, and give back in some way. If you pay attention, you'll realize that digestion begins not just with food, but with gratitude. To eat is to receive. To chew is to thank the world for its offerings. And to swallow is to trust your body with the task of turning those offerings into life. Now, picture the bolus moving toward the back of your mouth once more. Your tongue presses it gently against the soft palate. The muscles in your throat tense, ready to guide it downward. It feels effortless, but it is one of the most coordinated motions your body knows. It happens hundreds of times a day, almost never noticed. As the food passes, you feel a subtle satisfaction, a primal sense of completion. You've done your part. Now, the inner world takes over. Behind the calm surface of your throat lies the beginning of a tunnel, the esophagus, a hidden passage leading to the next stage of the journey. But we will not rush there just yet. Instead, take a moment to reflect on what has already happened. A thought became desire. Desire became action. Action became transformation. You saw food, smelled it, tasted it, broke it down, softened it, and sent it on its way. In just a few minutes, countless microscopic changes occurred. Chemistry, motion, and instinct all in harmony. And all of this began with something as gentle as a bite. The next time you eat, remember this. The simple act of chewing is the first chapter of a profound story. A story about connection between your senses and your survival, between the outside world and the world within you. As we continue deeper, remember how quietly this all began, with a breath, a taste, a movement of the jaw, with patience, with trust, with the first contact. Now, as the food slips beyond the reach of your tongue, guided by the soft waves of muscle that lead downward, the sound of your breath returns. Your body resumes its rhythm, your heart steady, your lungs calm, the mouth rests, the tongue lowers, the first act is complete. And deep below, the silent tunnel awakens. The esophagus waits, ready to carry the story forward, down into the hidden chambers where transformation truly begins. The journey continues now, deeper into the quiet interior. The mouth has done its work. The taste fades, the motion slows, and what was once a bite of food is now a soft, shapeless traveler, ready to descend. You've swallowed thousands of times in your life, yet you almost never notice it. It is one of the most automatic movements you perform, and yet, behind that effortless moment lies an astonishing act of coordination. The instant you swallow, a secret choreography begins. Your tongue presses the food toward the back of your throat. Your breathing pauses. A thin flap of tissue. The epiglottis lowers like a silent gate, closing off your windpipe to protect your lungs. At that same moment, the top of the esophagus opens, accepting the passing traveler. Then the muscles behind the food tighten in sequence, pushing it downward with gentle waves. This is peristalsis, a word that sounds complex but feels natural. It means to contract around, and that is exactly what your body does. The walls of the esophagus squeeze, release, squeeze again, moving the food forward, like hands guiding a delicate object through darkness. You might imagine the esophagus as a long, hollow tube, but it is alive, elastic, and sensitive. It stretches roughly 10 inches in adults, connecting the throat to the stomach. The inside is smooth, glistening with mucus, so that each swallow glides effortlessly downward. You don't feel it often, but if you focus for a moment, you might sense that subtle motion. The downward pull in your chest, the wave of quiet strength that works entirely on its own. Gravity helps a little, but it isn't necessary. You could swallow upside down and the food would still reach your stomach. Your body is that sure of itself. The waves keep coming, gentle and unwavering, until their task is complete. It's strange to think of something so ordinary as miraculous, but it is. Imagine this silent tunnel as a hidden road, one you travel every day without ever seeing it. It doesn't glow, it doesn't pulse with color, but it moves with purpose. Each swallow is a passage, a quiet migration from the world above to the world below. For a moment, imagine being that small piece of food. You were once part of the outside world. Perhaps a grain from a field, a drop of milk, a slice of fruit that caught the light of the sun. Now, darkness surrounds you. You move through warmth and motion, guided not by sight, but by rhythm. The tunnel squeezes and releases, a living corridor leading you deeper into the core of the human body. The esophagus doesn't digest. It doesn't transform or break down what passes through it. Its only purpose is movement, a passageway of trust. And in that simplicity, there is elegance. If you think about it, most of life depends on simple, silent passages. Blood flowing through veins, air through the lungs, thoughts traveling through neurons, all quiet, all unseen, all constant. The esophagus belongs to that family of silent helpers, working endlessly while you think about other things. It doesn't ask for thanks, it doesn't seek attention, it simply moves, wave after wave, carrying life forward. Now, the bolus, the mass of chewed food, reaches the lower end of the esophagus. There, a small circular muscle waits like a guardian. It's called the lower esophageal sphincter, though most people never hear its name. Its job is simple but vital. It opens just enough to let the food pass into the stomach, then closes tightly again. If it didn't, the acid from your stomach would rise, burning your throat. You know that sensation, heartburn, a reminder of how this gate protects you every single day. But tonight, in our calm journey, everything works perfectly. The gate opens smoothly. The bolus slips through without resistance. And for a brief moment, the world inside you feels perfectly aligned. Let's linger here, between two realms, the narrow tunnel above and the open chamber below. It's a threshold, a point of transition. Every journey has such a place, where one stage ends and another begins. Here, in this small region of muscle and warmth, the food crosses from the simple act of eating into the deep alchemy of digestion. It is no longer a flavor or a texture. It has no name, no color. It has become potential. Soon, it will meet acid and enzyme, fire and motion. But for now, it rests in the stillness between two beats. If you listen closely to your body, you can almost hear the rhythm of these internal movements, the gentle push and pull, the patient waves. They're always there, even when you are asleep, even when you forget about your body entirely. Your insides never stop singing their quiet song of motion. And perhaps, as you imagine this, you begin to realize something. You are not separate from the processes inside you. You are the process. The same intelligence that moves food through your esophagus is the one that breathes without instruction, that heals a cut, that dreams while you sleep. It is not something you control. It is something you are. The esophagus is like a bridge, an invisible one, connecting thought and matter. Above it, the act of eating is conscious, sensory, deliberate. Below it, everything becomes automatic, internal, beyond will. As the food crosses this bridge, you surrender control. You hand over the responsibility to something greater, your body's deep, ancient wisdom. It's a humbling thought. For all your intelligence, you cannot command your stomach to digest faster, or your esophagus to move differently. You can only trust it. And it never fails you. Every swallow you've ever made, from the first moment you were born, has followed this same sacred pattern. Your body has never forgotten. It's as if there's a hidden memory written into every cell, a memory older than speech, older than humanity. To eat is to remember that you are alive. As the bolus reaches the end of its descent, the esophagus gives one last gentle squeeze, like a final farewell. The gate below opens, and the food enters a new realm, the stomach. The tunnel relaxes, empties, and waits quietly for the next task. Up above, the throat clears, the breath returns, and you continue without even noticing what has just occurred. But inside, something remarkable has happened. A piece of the outside world has entered you and become part of the story of your existence. You can think of the esophagus as a teacher of patience. It doesn't rush. It doesn't question. It moves with unwavering faith that the path ahead is waiting, ready to receive. That is its wisdom to flow, without resistance, from one moment to the next. And perhaps there's something in that lesson for all of us. When life moves too fast, when thoughts twist and turn, you can remember this silent tunnel within you. Always calm, always steady, carrying life forward one wave at a time. Take a slow breath now. Feel how your chest rises and falls. That movement too is a wave, a rhythm, a reminder. Inside you, motion never stops. It just changes form. Above, the mouth has fallen quiet. Below, the stomach waits. An ocean of acid, muscle, and mystery. And as the food enters it, the true transformation begins. For the esophagus, the journey is complete. For you, it is only beginning. The journey continues into the quiet depths of the body. The food has left a gentle tunnel behind. Now it enters a world of transformation, a place of power, rhythm, and warmth. The stomach. If the mouth is a place of discovery and the esophagus a passage, then the stomach is a cauldron. It is where the outer world becomes inner substance, where what you have eaten ceases to be food and begins to become you. The moment the food passes through the lower gate, the stomach welcomes it. Its walls expand, soft and flexible, ready to hold what has arrived. Muscles stretch, nerves awaken, and secretions begin to flow. It is not a harsh reaction, but a careful preparation. The body's own quiet chemistry lab. Imagine, for a moment, this space inside you. Not a void, but a warm chamber hidden behind your ribs. It contracts and releases slowly, like the sea breathing against the shore. The inside is lined with folds called rugae, which allow it to expand and contract as needed. Every movement, every pulse is purposeful. Now the real work begins. Your stomach starts to release a mixture known as gastric juice, a fluid both powerful and precise. It contains hydrochloric acid, one of the strongest acids found in nature. And yet, your body produces it safely, uses it wisely, and keeps it perfectly contained. This acid does not burn you because the stomach has its own form of armor. A thick layer of mucus coats its walls, protecting the tissues beneath. Every second, the stomach regenerates this shield, renewing itself quietly, endlessly. There is something awe-inspiring about this, a place within you that can hold acid strong enough to dissolve metal, and yet it does so with grace, without damage. It's not destruction, it's alchemy. The food that entered as soft and familiar begins to change. The acid breaks down proteins, unfolding their complex shapes so that enzymes can reach them. Pepsin, one of those enzymes, begins its careful work. Slicing long chains of amino acids into smaller fragments, your body can later absorb. It is a slow, rhythmic process. The stomach doesn't rush. Its muscular walls churn gently, folding the food again and again, mixing it with acid and enzymes until it becomes a smooth, semi-liquid substance called chyme. Each contraction pushes the mixture in gentle circles, like a slow dance. The sound you sometimes hear, that quiet growl when you're hungry, is this movement a reminder that the alchemist within is alive and working? As you imagine this, notice how calm it feels. There is no violence in it, no chaos, only transformation. The stomach does not destroy what it receives, it refines it. It takes something raw and turns it into something ready, something your body can use to sustain life. In that sense, digestion is an act of care. You offer the world a piece of itself, a fruit, a grain, a piece of bread, and your body receives it with gratitude, working tirelessly to integrate it into your being. The outer becomes inner, the foreign becomes familiar. This process is guided not by will, but by wisdom. Tiny sensors within your stomach walls detect how much food has arrived, what kind it is, and how dense it feels. They send signals to your brain, and the brain responds by adjusting the pace of digestion. If the meal is rich, the process slows. If it's light, the stomach empties more quickly. There is constant communication, a dialogue between mind and body that happens below awareness. Inside the silent chamber, the boundary between you and the world blurs. The food that once grew from the earth begins to dissolve, releasing the minerals and molecules that once belonged to sunlight, soil, and rain. You are, quite literally, absorbing the story of the planet. It's easy to forget this when you eat. We live in a world of fast meals and rushing thoughts. But if you could slow down, even for a moment, you would feel the sacred rhythm inside, the heartbeat of transformation that has been with you since birth. Every animal, every creature that eats, holds this same magic. birds, whales, humans, all rely on the same ancient chemistry. Hydrochloric acid and enzymes, muscles and nerves, working in harmony. You share this process with every living being that has ever digested a meal. It is one of the oldest songs of life. Now, imagine the chyme swirling inside the stomach, smooth and warm. It stays here for several hours, resting, changing. The stomach contracts gently, pushing small amounts of this liquid toward its lower gate, the pyloric sphincter. This gate opens just enough to allow a little of the mixture to pass into the small intestine. Then it closes again, holding the rest until the time is right. The timing is perfect, always. Not too fast, not too slow. Your body knows how to balance the pace, ensuring that each step of digestion happens in harmony with the next. The stomach is not only a physical space, it is a symbol of patience. It waits, it stirs, it transforms. It teaches that creation takes time, that transformation happens quietly. What begins as chaos becomes order. What begins as solid becomes fluid. If you listen inwardly, you might feel its presence. A steady warmth beneath your chest, a subtle awareness that life is unfolding inside you, second by second. It's a feeling of trust. You do nothing, yet everything happens. The stomach doesn't ask for your help, it simply continues, day after day, year after year. When you rest, it works. When you sleep, it dreams in chemistry. And all of this happens so you may live. Sometimes, when you feel anxious, you might feel it in your stomach. That tightening, that knot. That is not coincidence. Your emotions and your stomach share a direct line of communication. The same nerves that control digestion also respond to feeling. It's why excitement can make you lose your appetite, and calm can help you heal. Your stomach listens not only to what you eat, but to how you feel. It digests emotion as much as food, and so as you rest tonight, remember, peace aids digestion. Calm helps your body to heal. Kindness, even towards yourself, is nourishment too. Now, as the stomach continues its work, the chyme becomes lighter, smoother, and more balanced. Bit by bit, it passes through the lower gate, into the winding corridors of the small intestine, the labyrinth of absorption. There, the story will shift from transformation to integration. But before we go, pause for a moment and offer gratitude, not as a thought, but as a feeling. The stomach is the quiet alchemist within you. It turns the outer world into strength, into warmth, into energy. Without words, it serves you faithfully, endlessly. You may not see it, but it never stops. Its gentle churns are the heartbeat of survival, a rhythm older than memory. And tonight, as you rest, it will keep moving, mixing, refining, preparing the next stage of the journey. The alchemist never sleeps, it only changes shape. The gate opens again. A small stream of chyme flows downward. The warmth fades into the calm of the next realm, the long, coiled passage of the small intestine. There, another kind of wisdom awaits. Not the strength of acid, but the softness of absorption. Not the fire of transformation, but the quiet of acceptance. For now, let your breath settle. Let your thoughts drift. The work inside you continues, slow and perfect. You are being renewed, moment by moment. And as you rest, the alchemist within smiles, content to know that every part of you, mind, body, and spirit, is one seamless process of becoming. The alchemist has done its work. The stomach, warm and patient, has broken the world down into something new, a smooth, shimmering river of life called chyme. Now the journey continues. Through a narrow opening, this liquid flows gently into the longest and most intricate part of your digestive system. Place of wisdom, precision, and quiet intelligence. The small intestine. It may be called small, but that name deceives. If stretched out, this winding corridor would measure over 6 meters in length, long enough to wrap around you many times, and yet it folds itself neatly within your abdomen, coiled and hidden, a labyrinth designed not for speed, but for mastery. Here, the body performs one of its most subtle arts, the art of absorption. The stomach transformed food into something the body can use. Now, the small intestine decides how to use it. This is the place where the outer world truly becomes you, where the molecules of the earth, the air, and the sun merge with your living cells. The chyme enters slowly, met by a gentle greeting. Bile from the liver, stored and released by the gallbladder, flows in like liquid sunlight, breaking down fat into droplets so small that they can be absorbed. Enzymes from the pancreas arrive next. Amylase to finish breaking down carbohydrates. Lipase for fats, trypsin and chymotrypsin for proteins. Each has a purpose, each knows its role. They are the quiet workers of the inner world, turning complexity into simplicity, turning what was once a meal into the raw material of life itself. Imagine now that you could see inside. The walls of the intestine are not smooth. They are covered in millions of tiny folds, each fold lined with delicate projections called villi, and each villus covered with microscopic hair-like structures called microvilli. They look almost like soft coral under the sea, waving gently, waiting patiently. Together, they create a vast surface area, a landscape so immense that, if spread out, it would cover the size of a tennis court. Why such complexity? Because every inch of it is working to absorb the essence of life. Each villus has its own blood vessels, tiny capillaries ready to receive sugars, amino acids, and small fatty acids. As the chyme brushes past, these nutrients cross the thin barrier of cells and enter the bloodstream. From there, they are carried throughout the body to build muscle, repair tissue, feed the brain, and warm the heart. The small intestine is both gentle and relentless. It leaves nothing to waste, nothing to chance. Every movement, every contraction is perfectly timed. Muscles along its length create wave-like motions, not the strong peristalsis of the esophagus, but slower, more thoughtful ripples called segmentation. These rhythmic pulses mix the chyme with enzymes, bring it into contact with the villi, then move it onward in calm procession. The rhythm is unhurried, like the breathing of the earth itself. If you listen inwardly, you might sense this rhythm without realizing it. A faint pulse, a hidden tide that keeps you alive. It is not something you can hear, but something your body remembers. Now, imagine what's happening in silence. Molecules of glucose entering the blood, amino acids finding their way into cells, fatty acids carried by small vessels called lacteals into the lymphatic system. Every cell in your body is being fed by this invisible current. What you ate this morning, the fruit, the bread, the water, is already becoming your skin, your thoughts, your breath. You are constantly remade, rebuilt from the nutrients passing through this quiet labyrinth. The process is slow, peaceful, and endless. Even now, as you rest, your intestine continues to move, absorbing, transporting, renewing. There is something deeply spiritual about this. The small intestine is not only a physical organ, it is a bridge between the outside world and your inner life. It accepts what is useful, lets go of what is not, and keeps the balance of your existence intact. It teaches a simple wisdom. Take what nourishes, release what burdens, and keep flowing. Every part of the intestine knows its place. The duodenum, the first section, receives the chyme and begins chemical analysis. The jejunum, the middle stretch, absorbs the majority of nutrients, while the ileum, the final path, takes what remains and sends it onward. Each part flows into the next with quiet perfection, never asking for recognition, never making a sound. Meanwhile, signals move through the nervous system, coordinating every contraction, every release. The brain and the gut speak to each other constantly. In fact, scientists often call the intestine the second brain, a network of over 500 million neurons woven into its walls. This inner intelligence feels, remembers, and decides. It knows when to move food forward, when to pause, when to summon enzymes or slow the rhythm. Even if your brain above were asleep, this one below would continue. Steady, ancient, alive. And perhaps, as you listen, you begin to sense how connected everything truly is. The act of digestion is not just about survival. It's a conversation between cells, organs, microbes, and mind. It is your body's way of speaking to the universe, of saying, I am here, I am alive, I am part of all this. When you eat, you are not separate from nature. You are taking part in a cycle that began long before you, a rhythm shared by every living being that ever breathed. The food you digest once grew from soil that was once ancient rock. That rock was once dust from a dying star. And now, through this delicate labyrinth inside you, the atoms of that star are entering your blood, joining your body, becoming thought and memory. You are not just absorbing food. You are absorbing the history of the universe. As the chyme continues its journey, it grows thinner, lighter, until most of its nutrients have been taken. What remains is a gentle residue fiber, water, and minerals still to be reclaimed. The small intestine pushes this onward, toward the large intestine, where the cycle will reach its quiet close. But before we leave, pause in this inner landscape once more. Imagine standing inside this labyrinth, surrounded by endless folds and gentle movement, a living cathedral of tissue and light. Every wall breathes, every cell works, every motion whispers the same truth. that life is continuous, that transformation never ends. Your body is not static. It is a process, a living river that renews itself every moment. You are both the traveler and the path, the meal and the movement, the universe observing itself through sensation. The small intestine teaches harmony through balance. It does not cling, it does not resist, it takes only what it needs and lets the rest move on. It trusts the process completely. And so should you. As the last waves of chyme leave this place, the villi settle, the enzymes quiet, and a deep calm fills the body. The small intestine has done its work. Energy now flows through you, unseen but real, feeding thought, warmth, and peace. The journey continues onward, toward the realm of the liver and pancreas, the quiet architects who keep the body's balance and rhythm intact. But for now, let yourself rest in this feeling, the quiet gratitude that your body is wise, that every moment, without a word, it performs miracles on your behalf. The chyme has passed through the winding labyrinth of absorption, and now, deeper in the stillness of your body, two silent guardians continue their work. They are not loud, not dramatic. They do not move like muscles or churn like the stomach. They simply act, endlessly, wisely, unseen. The liver and the pancreas. If the stomach is the alchemist, then these two are the architects, designers of balance, keepers of order, and protectors of life's quiet harmony. The liver is the largest internal organ in your body. It rests beneath your ribs on the right side, warm and steady, like an ember that never fades. It weighs around 1.5 kilograms, yet it feels weightless because its motion is flow, the constant movement of blood, chemicals, and transformation. Everything that passes through your digestive system eventually comes to the liver. Every molecule absorbed by the small intestine first travels through a great inner river, the portal vein. It's as if all roads inside the body lead here. The liver examines everything that arrives. It is the gatekeeper, the chemist, and the judge. Sugars, amino acids, and fatty acids enter its chambers, and the liver decides their fate. Some are stored for later, some are converted into energy, and others are sent into the bloodstream for immediate use. It is a place of perfect intelligence. It knows when you've eaten and when you fasted, when to release sugar and when to hold it back, when to detoxify and when to build. If you could see it working, you would see billions of cells, hepatocytes, lined up like tiny lanterns, filtering the blood with precision, each one performing hundreds of chemical reactions per second, all in silence. The liver neutralizes what might harm you: toxins, chemicals, alcohol, even excess hormones. It transforms them into harmless compounds and sends them away through bile or blood. Without this protection, you would last only hours. But the liver never stops. It renews itself faster than any other organ. Even if part of it were removed, it would grow back, calm, complete, forgiving. Perhaps there's a lesson there. True strength lies not in rigidity, but in renewal. The liver also creates bile, a golden green fluid that flows into small ducts and is stored in the gallbladder until needed. Bile helps the body digest fat, breaking it into smaller droplets so enzymes can do their work. Without bile, even the richest meal would go unused. When you eat, the gallbladder releases bile into the small intestine, where it mingles with the chyme like sunlight touching water. It's an act of collaboration between organs, each responding, adapting, supporting. Inside this harmony there is no noise, no confusion. Each part knows its role. The liver filters. The gallbladder releases. The pancreas transforms. The pancreas lies behind the stomach, shaped like a soft feather, pale and delicate, but powerful beyond measure. It, too, lives in silence. Its two main tasks define balance itself. First, it serves the digestive system. It produces enzymes, amylase, lipase, trypsin, that flow into the small intestine, continuing the breakdown of food that began in the mouth and stomach. It's as if the pancreas provides the final tools for turning the outer world into nourishment. But its second task is far more subtle. The pancreas also tends to the bloodstream. Scattered among its cells are tiny clusters called the islets of Langerhans. These islets release hormones that regulate the balance of sugar in your body. When your blood sugar rises after eating, the pancreas releases insulin, a messenger that tells your cells, "Open your doors, energy has arrived." The cells listen, allowing glucose to enter, turning it into warmth, movement, and life. When blood sugar falls, the pancreas sends another messenger, glucagon, to remind the liver to release some of its stored energy. This keeps everything balanced, like the steady swing of a pendulum. All of it happens without thought. You do not command it. You simply live it. The liver and pancreas are like twin guardians of equilibrium. They maintain a state so precise that even small disruptions can change how you feel. A rush of sugar, a sip of alcohol, a deep breath. They notice it all and respond immediately. Their patience and precision keep you alive every moment. If you close your eyes, you might imagine the liver as a glowing furnace, its warmth radiating quietly beneath your ribs, and the pancreas beside it, a gentle artisan, measuring, mixing, adjusting. Together, they embody balance and care. They never sleep, never rest. They are always calculating, healing, and protecting. Even as you dream, they continue their endless dance, turning what enters you into what sustains you. But they also remind you of something profound. The liver, by filtering and cleansing, teaches the art of letting go. It removes what no longer serves you, and it does so without resentment. Every second, it forgives the body's mistakes, quietly restoring order. The pancreas, through its balance of sugar and energy, teaches the value of moderation. Too much or too little, and harmony is lost. But within balance, life flourishes. Both of them whisper the same wisdom: to live well, you must flow, not too fast, not too slow, not holding on, not giving up. Think now of how extraordinary it is that you never have to think of them. You don't tell your liver to cleanse. You don't remind your pancreas to release insulin. They act from a place deeper than thought, a part of you older than will, older than words. Every breath, every heartbeat is supported by their quiet work. They are not organs of emotion or desire, but of service. They do not rest, and yet they never demand your attention. Perhaps that is what true devotion looks like. Endless action, without expectation of recognition. As the chyme continues through the intestine, these two architects keep guiding it, adding what is needed, removing what is not, maintaining the flow of transformation. Your blood now carries the fruits of their labor: glucose from digested carbohydrates, amino acids from proteins, fatty acids, and glycerol from oils. Every heartbeat sends these gifts throughout your body. They become part of your muscles, your thoughts, your dreams. The liver and pancreas ask for nothing in return, but they thrive when you show them kindness. When you breathe deeply, rest, eat slowly, and let calm guide your habits. They are not machines, they are living intelligence, and they respond to peace. So as you listen now, let yourself feel gratitude for these silent workers. They are the guardians that make your life possible. They build, protect, renew, without ever asking to be seen. You might never hear their voices, but you carry their rhythm inside you. A rhythm of filtering and flowing, of balance and transformation. And so as you rest tonight, know that deep within, the architects continue their work, softly, perfectly, endlessly. The blood they purify flows onward. The energy they regulate keeps your heart warm, and your body, your miraculous, quiet body, remains in harmony with itself. Next comes the place where endings become beginnings. The large intestine, the keeper of renewal, the one that completes the circle of life within you. But before we go there, take one long, slow breath and thank the unseen. Your liver, your pancreas, your body. The silent architects of balance, still building, still perfecting as you drift softly into sleep. The journey nears its quiet end. The food that entered your body as flavor, as texture, as warmth, has now become something else entirely. It has been chewed, dissolved, transformed, and absorbed. What remains now is what could not be used, and yet, even this has a purpose. Welcome to the large intestine. The keeper of endings, the silent recycler, the circle that completes the dance of digestion. Here, in this final stretch of the inner world, the pace slows down. Everything that arrives does so gently, like a tide at dusk. There is no hurry here, no urgency. The work of the large intestine is patience. To extract what remains, to nourish what can still be saved, and to let go of what must return to the earth. The large intestine is wider than the small one, but shorter, about 1.5 meters in length. It begins at the lower right of your abdomen, rises along your side, crosses beneath your ribs, and descends again, ending in a quiet curve. The place where the body and the world meet once more. It is not a place of chaos, but of calm. Everything that passes through it has already been prepared, softened, purified by the journey so far. Now it enters a different kind of realm. One ruled not by acid or enzyme, but by time, microbes, and transformation. The walls of the large intestine are home to trillions of living beings, tiny creatures you cannot see, but without which you could not survive. They form what scientists call the microbiome. They are not invaders or strangers, they are your silent partners, ancient allies who have evolved with you since the beginning of life. Imagine them as an invisible forest within you. Each species of bacteria, fungus, and microbe plays a role, breaking down what your enzymes could not, fermenting fibers, producing vitamins, training your immune system to distinguish friend from foe. It is strange and wonderful to think that your health depends not only on the organs you were born with, but also on these unseen guests who chose to live inside you. Their world is dark, warm, and perfectly balanced. They feed on what remains of your meal, and in return, they create nourishment for you. Short-chain fatty acids, vitamin K, B vitamins. They even communicate with your brain through chemical messages that influence mood, memory, and peace. This is not a one-way process. It is a conversation, an exchange of gifts between species. You give them shelter, and they give you balance. If you ever felt intuition deep in your gut, that quiet, wordless knowing, it might have come from here, for your gut and your mind are connected more closely than most imagine. A line of communication runs between them through nerves, hormones, and chemistry. It is called the gut-brain axis. So when you feel calm after a meal or anxious when you are hungry, it is not coincidence. It is your inner worlds speaking to one another, each shaping the other's silence. As the remains of digestion move slowly through the large intestine, water begins to be absorbed. This is one of its great tasks, to reclaim moisture, to condense what is left, and to turn liquid into form again. Little by little, the once fluid chyme thickens. It becomes solid. Not waste, but matter transformed. The body takes back what it can: minerals, salts, electrolytes, tiny traces of energy still hidden in the fibers. What remains continues its journey through the colon, carried by gentle waves of contraction, slow, rhythmic, patient. The process can take many hours, sometimes more than a day, but the body does not rush. It moves with the steady pace of the natural world. This is where the cycle of nourishment becomes the cycle of release. The large intestine teaches something profound, that letting go is as vital as receiving. You cannot hold on to everything. To live is to take in what sustains you, and to release what no longer serves. And so, even as the body absorbs what it can, it prepares to return the rest, to give it back to the earth, where new life will one day grow. If you could listen closely, you would hear a faint symphony within, not of words or notes, but of movement and transformation. The quiet bubbling of gases, the slow motion of muscles, the soft fermentation of microbes at work. It is the sound of life continuing, the sound of completion. This final stage is not wasteful. It is renewal. Even what leaves your body continues to serve, returning nutrients to soil, feeding the invisible cycles that sustain the world. Nature wastes nothing, and neither do you. Think for a moment about the poetry of this design. From the moment you take your first breath, your body exists in conversation with everything around it. The air you inhale once passed through trees. The water you drink once flowed through mountains. The food you eat once grew from the ground you walk upon. And what you return, through breath, through waste, through time, becomes the soil and sky for others. In this way, the large intestine is not merely an organ. It is a teacher of humility. It reminds you that you are not separate from the earth. You are a continuation of it. When you eat, the world enters you. When you excrete, you give part of yourself back to the world. There is no boundary, only flow. You are both guest and host, giver and receiver, in the endless cycle of exchange. Inside this quiet place, your microbiome continues its invisible work, keeping balance not only in your gut, but in your mind. Research has shown that people with healthier gut flora often experience greater emotional stability, better sleep, calmer thoughts. Why? Because the bacteria that live here produce compounds that influence the brain: serotonin, dopamine, and other messengers of peace. So, when you feed your body kindly, with fiber, water, and calm, you are also feeding your happiness. The microbes celebrate with you, thriving in the harmony you create. It's a beautiful image, a community of life within your own, dancing in rhythm to your breath. And yet, even this part of the journey has its own rhythm of letting go. When the time comes, the body sends signals. Muscles in the colon contract in waves, gently moving what remains toward the rectum. There, the final act of digestion takes place. Not chemical, but physical. It is the release. The final letting go of what is no longer needed. It's easy to see this act as mundane, but in truth, it's sacred. It completes the cycle of transformation, from seed to meal, from meal to energy, from energy to movement, and back to the earth again. This rhythm connects all beings. The deer, the bird, the human, the whale, all eat, digest, release, and return. It is the quiet truth of existence. Everything that begins must one day return. You might think of the large intestine as the philosopher of the body. While the stomach burns and churns, and the liver calculates, the large intestine reflects. It asks gently, "What have you taken in? What will you keep? And what will you release?" These are not just biological questions, they are human ones. To live fully is to learn this rhythm. You breathe in, you breathe out. You love and you let go. You hold and you release. Every process of your body mirrors this truth. So, as you imagine the large intestine, don't see it as a place of endings, but as a circle, a reminder that life continues beyond itself. Sometimes, when you feel tension or heaviness, it may be your body's way of holding on, physically, emotionally, energetically. But even here, your inner world offers wisdom. The act of release is healing. It brings space for newness, for calm, for flow. The large intestine whispers this message every day, in silence, without words. Let go, and you will be lighter. Trust, and you will renew. As the last remnants of your meal pass through this sacred corridor, your body reclaims every drop of water it can. The remaining matter gathers and prepares to leave. Muscles contract, and relaxation follows. A perfect balance of effort and surrender. And when the moment comes, the cycle closes with grace. You release, and the body exhales. Inside, there is peace. In that release, there is more than biology. There is freedom. Because your body understands something. The mind often forgets that to flow is to live. Now, imagine your entire digestive journey as one vast circle. From the mouth, where sensation begins, to the stomach, where transformation ignites, to the intestines, where absorption and renewal intertwine. Every stage gives to the next. Every ending becomes a beginning. The large intestine stands at the edge of this cycle, not as a boundary, but as a bridge. It sends one part of the world out, so that another part may enter again. This is the meaning of renewal. This is how life sustains itself. And as you listen now, feel how calm your own rhythm has become. Your breath has slowed, your thoughts have softened. The world inside you and the world outside are not separate. They are reflections of one another, moving, recycling, evolving, forever connected. The large intestine reminds you that completion is not the end. It is the promise of continuation, that every cycle, no matter how small, feeds the next. So rest now, in the quiet understanding that your body is perfect in its design. It gives, it takes, it renews, it releases. And through all of it, you remain, a being of flow, a harmony of beginnings and endings. The circle closes here, but the music of your body continues. Soon, we will enter the final realm, a place of reflection and gratitude. The body at rest, the mind in peace, the eternal process of life still unfolding within. Now breathe, in and out. You are part of the circle. You are the circle itself. You are the circle itself. The journey reaches its quietest moment. The final act of digestion has ended, and yet, something continues. Not the movement of food, nor the churn of the stomach, but the deeper rhythm, the one that never stops. The rhythm of life itself. Even now, as you rest, your body is still at work. Cells breathe, blood flows. The pulse behind your ribs hums softly like a secret melody, and in that silent music, the story continues. This is the eternal process, the quiet miracle that renews you again and again, night after night, breath after breath. You are not the same person you were yesterday. Inside you, countless transformations have taken place. Atoms that once belonged to sunlight or soil now move through your veins. Molecules that yesterday formed a leaf or a grain are now part of your muscles, your thoughts, your heartbeat. Every hour, old cells die and new ones are born. Your bones replace themselves. Your skin regenerates. Your stomach lining renews. Even your memories reshape themselves as the brain rewires tiny connections. Relearning, releasing, remembering. The process never stops. It only changes shape, and yet, through all of it, you remain. The still center of this constant becoming. Think of what you have traveled through. You began in the mouth, where taste, scent, and anticipation began the journey. You followed the food down the esophagus, through the rhythmic tunnel of muscle and motion. You entered the stomach, where fire and fluid transformed the world into essence. You passed into the small intestine, where the miracle of absorption turned matter into life. Then you met the liver and pancreas, the patient architects of balance and renewal. And finally, you reached the large intestine, where everything found completion, the quiet art of letting go. Each part of this journey reflected something in you: the mouth, curiosity; the stomach, transformation; the intestines, trust; the liver, forgiveness; the colon, release. Together they form the full circle of existence, a perfect reflection of how to live, to receive, to change, to give back, to rest. Now your body returns to stillness. The muscles of your digestive system slow, your heart finds its gentle pace, and the breath becomes calm and deep. This stillness is not emptiness. It is fullness without motion, like the ocean before dawn, when everything waits in peace. Inside this calm, your body is healing. The nutrients you've absorbed are being carried to every cell that needs them. Proteins rebuild what was broken. Sugars feed the brain. Fats protect your nerves and fuel your dreams. Vitamins spark quiet reactions that keep your inner universe glowing. You are being remade, moment by moment, in a process so intricate that even the brightest minds can only begin to understand it. And yet your body does it naturally, effortlessly, without a single conscious thought. That is grace. There is wisdom in this. Your body does not rush. It trusts. It knows the rhythm of renewal. It never asks for perfection, only patience. When you rest, it rebuilds. When you eat, it transforms. When you let go, it balances. It is a living cycle of care, a quiet intelligence that holds you together, even when you forget to notice. The next time you feel tired or uncertain, remember this truth: your body is not your enemy, it is your oldest friend. It has carried you from the beginning, and it will continue to carry you, through joy and pain, through chaos and calm. It does not demand your attention, only your kindness. Tonight it continues its work quietly. The food you ate becomes warmth. The warmth becomes energy. The energy becomes thought. Perhaps, even as you listen, your body is converting sunlight, captured long ago in a piece of fruit, into the strength of your next heartbeat. You are, in the simplest truth, a being made of starlight and soil, constantly remade by the very world that surrounds you. The air that enters your lungs was once breathed by others: people, trees, animals, oceans. The water that nourishes you has traveled the earth for millennia, falling as rain, rising as vapor, returning again and again. You are not separate from this circle. You are this circle. If you could step outside yourself and watch, you would see billions of tiny lives within you. Cells, microbes, molecules, each one part of a vast, harmonious system, each one serving the same purpose: to live, to give, to renew. It is humbling, and at the same time, it is beautiful. Every heartbeat is a small act of creation. Every breath, a soft beginning. Every release, a gentle ending. And between them, the whole story of existence. Let yourself rest in that thought for a while. Your body knows the rhythm of the universe better than your mind ever could. It moves in cycles, of sleep and wake, of hunger and fullness, of giving and receiving. It mirrors the tides and the moon, the seasons and the stars. You are made of that same pattern, the same cosmic mathematics of balance. That is why, when you slow down and listen, you feel peace. Because your body, your cells, your heartbeat, all speak the same language as nature, the language of flow. You might think of gratitude now, not as an idea, but as a feeling that arises quietly, like warmth spreading through your chest. Gratitude for the meal that nourished you. Gratitude for the organs that worked in silence. Gratitude for the invisible intelligence that keeps you alive even as you sleep. You did not earn this miracle, you were simply given it, and by noticing, you honor it. You can whisper it now if you like. A simple thought, soft and sincere: thank you, body. Thank you for all you do without asking. Thank you for the life that continues inside me. As your breath deepens, feel how that gratitude changes everything. The mind quiets. The muscles loosen. The body opens like a flower to light. Your nervous system hears it, a signal of safety. Your heart slows a little more. Your digestion settles, peaceful and complete. You are home, not in a place, but within yourself. There is one more truth to remember: nothing inside you truly stops. Even as you sleep, your body continues to renew. The heart beats. The lungs move. The gut breathes in its own rhythm, contracting and relaxing like the ocean's tide. And somewhere in that constant motion, life itself whispers, I am here. I have always been here. That whisper is not separate from you, it is you. It's the same whisper that moves through forests, through rivers, through the stars themselves. You are part of that great conversation. Matter becoming life, life becoming awareness, awareness returning to silence. The cycle never ends. And so, as this journey closes, you can rest in the calm understanding that you are not merely a collection of organs, but a living harmony, a universe of cooperation, each part devoted to keeping the others alive. From the first bite to the last breath, you are the embodiment of balance, of giving and taking, of creation and release, of life in constant renewal. This is what it means to exist, not to conquer, but to flow, not to hold, but to participate. The digestive system was never only about food. It is the perfect metaphor for being alive. To take in experience, to break it down, to absorb what nourishes, and to let the rest go with love. Tonight, as you drift towards sleep, your body continues this sacred work. The liver still hums with quiet diligence. The heart still beats its soft drum. The gut still moves with silent patience. And your breath, your faithful breath, moves like a tide, in and out, forever in rhythm with the world. Let that rhythm carry you now. Let it hold you like a lullaby written by the universe itself. You don't need to think, you don't need to do, you only need to be. Because being, in all its quiet simplicity, is enough. Before you sleep, take a moment to thank yourself. Not your accomplishments, not your plans, but simply the miracle of being alive. Whisper it softly, I am here. I am whole. I am part of everything. And let that truth settle deep in your bones, like light sinking into the sea. Tomorrow, the cycle will begin again. You will eat, breathe, move, and transform. The inner world will keep its promise of renewal. And through it all, you will remain part of the vast eternal process, the one that connects every life, every cell, every star. So rest now, in the gentle awareness that you are cared for from within. The world inside you hums softly, alive and endless. The process continues. Not hurried, not loud, but steady, eternal, perfectly complete. And as you drift into sleep, you join that rhythm once more, the eternal process of rest, renewal, and gratitude.